meeting of the month. All right. First up, approving the minutes from August 9th.
I'll make a motion that we approve.
Meeting of the month.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, okay. Let's see here, then you got authorization of the payment of bills.
I'll make a motion that we authorize the payment of the bills. I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, very good. Move to the floor, on twice thrice, old business, new business, dissolve the recreation committee. Commission, dissolving the commission and creating a committee.
The commission that we are dissolving is pre-pandemic. It has not met in years, and we have a vision to move forward with some new people who are excited to help the recreation committee.
That's excellent. So can we get a motion to dissolve the recreation commission?
I'm gonna make a motion to dissolve the former recreation commission.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. All right. Next up, create a recreation committee.
In its place, I make a motion to create a recreation committee.
I'll second.
All right, any discussion on this? This is a good thing. It's more formal, it's more permanent. And it's gonna be taken a lot more seriously. They actually have a mission and a job to do, so it's gonna be very helpful.
I also think it's good after the pandemic. Fresh
Yeah.
start.
Yeah.
And I think the timing makes sense before the budget season begins, so that the committee can
Right,
talk about what the year's gonna look like and how the money that funds our programs will come in and what we're gonna be able to do with it.
perfect. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, good. All right, next I see we have a mission statement. I'll read it. The mission for the Homer Recreation Department is to provide quality programs and facilities for all residents in the community to be active and healthy, and to have the opportunity to explore different sports and activities in a positive and encouraging environment. So that was all. Yeah.
Elizabeth, are you okay with that? I think
I
it's, okay. I made a small change, so I wanted to make sure.
I am, and I make a motion to approve the mission statement for the recreation committee.
I'll second it.
All right, any other discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, good. All right, off and running now. All right. Approve recreation board members' job description. That's saying this is what I'm talking about.
The requirements and eligibility.
I'll note that we really want to include a high school student on the recreation committee, and we don't have a high school student yet who's expressed interest. So if anybody knows of anyone who wants to be involved in local government and has some ideas about expanding programs, since so much of what the recreation committee does is aimed at the kids in the community, we think it'd be great to include their
That's a
perspective.
great idea.
With the school starting next week. That might be a good opportunity for us to get it out to
Yeah,
the high school,
Yeah.
and I'm sure I am. Bet a dollar to donuts that we will definitely have, yes, a couple people interested.
yeah, I think so. I think so.
I had I just wanted to make sure that we were kind of offsetting on the fiscal terms. Terms are 2 fiscal years, beginning and ending. You know, if we have everybody, am I looking at the right thing? I was just concerned if we have everything, everybody change over at the same time or not, what do you, I mean, it's not saying that they're going to change, but.
Oh, I see what you're saying, because everything else, all our other boards are staggered.
I was just looking for continuity. I mean, if we know that some people are gonna stay on beyond, then it's not so much of an issue, but for institutional knowledge.
Mhm.
But then again, if you have everybody changing out, I mean, not everybody's gonna change out every year,
Yeah,
but
I think. I mean, I understand the concern, but I think probably people will drop out here and there, and then that'll naturally sort of stagger it. It'll take, a couple years.
okay,
Yeah, I think it's all right.
all right. I'm gonna leave that way. Yeah, I just, I expressed my concern, you guys talked through it, and I think
It's,
it's valid, so.
So our coordinating goes to the first meeting after the election this year. So
Right.
it's supposed to be either the end of November or the beginning of December. So everybody gets reappointed at that point.
yeah, his, Pat's concern is just. What if everyone just left at the same time?
You could make the first year, even having these requirements, but just say for the first year, like one half of them are 3 years and half for 2 years.
What if we just simplify it and say the terms are for 2 years and are renewable 2 times? And as you said, people will naturally drop out when they have other commitments, and so we're going to wind up with a staggered term, and then we're not looking at a bunch of people re-upping at the same time.
I don't know if we need to, do you think we need to put the term limits on that? I don't think so either, so I think let's just keep it simple.
Okay.
And, if we find an issue, we have to review this every 3 years, no matter what, we can adjust from there.
Yeah, at that point, we could always change people's terms. All right,
I did have a semantics thing.
Yes.
About, village trustees or mayor must not be recommended, recreation board members must just kind of like passive voice. I was looking for more will not or cannot, and active voice.
says cannot.
Yes, they're all changed.
Oh, you already checked.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the draft copy, sir.
Yeah. Everything that you said.
Yeah, there's no wiggle room there.
Yeah. Sorry,
That's all right.
thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, any other questions or comments on the job duties, requirements, eligibility?
I make the motion to accept the recreation board member's job description as written.
Second.
Oh,
Any other discussion? No, all in favor?
Aye.
Let's see here, approve recreation committee board members as presented.
just want to note that the people who are listed here, the 5 individuals, they've expressed interest in the programs. Many of them are long-term residents of Homer. Some of them have been volunteers with our rec programs. One's a parent of children who participate in the rec programs, and so they all seem to have a real strong interest in improving it and making sure that the programs are available for everybody here.
That's excellent.
I don't see that.
And the 5
Thanks.
initial members that we're asking to have appointed. Like I said, they've all expressed interest, but there are only 5 people. The rules that we just approved call for 5 to 8 people, so there's still more space. If more
Okay.
people learn about this and want to be involved or have other ideas, can certainly be added to the recreation.
So it's
committee.
5 to 8, but we do want one of those to be a high school student, right?
5 to 8 plus a high school.
Plus a high school student, I see. Okay,
And the high school has equal rights.
I see that, that's
So you
good.
could, technically, you could always amend it too, and if you had 2 high schoolers that express interest, you can amend the rules.
They have, I can't remember the name of the class, that leadership
Yes.
government
The
class.
government,
Yeah,
it's 12th grade requirement.
usually, well, yeah, I usually go in and grade or, kind of grade their, because they're gonna do their simulated legislative session in Albany, and they come with proposed legislation, and I kind of talk about it with them. I don't know the name of the class, but I bet that would be a great place to get a kid from. They're all really active and already thinking about this sort of thing. All right. Next up, approve planning board members' job description.
Did we approve the rec board members?
Oh, no, we didn't yet. I'm sorry.
I make a motion that we approve the 5 proposed members of the recreation committee as presented. Their names are Gary Harrington, Joe Condon, Aaron Donovan, Tim Maxon, and Tyler Burham.
I'll second that.
All right, any discussion? All in favor? Aye, unanimous, very good. Oh, I had two of these.
I found mine, it was underneath the planning board.
Wow. All right, so now we are on to approving the planning board members' requirements and eligibility.
So only the yellow items changed.
Okay,
And we already have staggered terms, even though it's beginning and ending at the organization. We have different times where they're starting.
yep,
And we added that they can be volunteers or paid employees.
right.
I like the addition of the additional hours may be required or by an oversight agency. I think that's a good one.
Yeah,
And that those hours can carry over, so that's good. I would like to make a motion to approve the planning board member's job description.
I'll second that motion.
any discussion? All fair?
Aye.
Aye, and on to the zoning board.
The exact same thing.
Well done. Motion,
I'll make a motion that we accept the zoning member's job description.
discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Right, there you go. Let's see, approve banner for fire prevention week.
I'll make a motion that we approve the hanging of the fire prevention week banner.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, approve Barton and Gudis lead service lateral inventory scope.
And Buzz, I wrote your name on that one.
You did?
Yeah.
I just, when you talk about, it's actually, it comes down to lead and copper.
Oh, copper's bad too?
I don't know, if that's the case, that's gonna be a big problem.
I think it's the solder they use to solder the copper. I think that's the issue.
But that'd be mostly in houses,
Right,
how we solve that problem.
that's our problem solved there.
But, we take these tests every 3 years for lead and copper, we never get a hit.
Yeah, that's good. It's not gonna stop us from having to do this though.
Well, it's coming out of the state,
Yeah,
but is this for getting your grant to change all this stuff, or is it just?
this is just to do the engineering report, and then I would assume from there, we would be. Applying for grant money. To do the actual work. Yeah. Because it'd probably be a lot of work.
Well, it's gonna be a tremendous lot of work. And you got, lead joints in your main lines and all that stuff, so.
Yeah. Yeah. You looking forward to it?
No hesitation.
Yeah.
Well, it's on the Fifth Street, Tudor Street. Parts of James Street, Oh, I guess maybe they, I was telling him, we used to have brass meters bottoms. And we had to get rid of those because there's actually lead in that brass to make it so it's seals, because brass is very porous.
I know that.
And still taking those tests, we never got in.
Huh,
That's a good sign then.
that is a good sign. Yeah. Well,
We have to do this, right?
yeah,
Required by October 2024 to have your list finalized.
engineer report. Project listed by August 31st for consideration of funding. Okay, yeah,
Maybe they'll just interview, look it over, maybe they'll take more high risk.
Yeah.
Areas,
well, yeah, I guess it's gonna depend on what they
come up with.
come up with.
Well, if I'm reading that correctly, this would set us up for
Yeah,
possible funding if we need it.
yeah, although they must have, have they been down here working like crazy on this or something, because this is due
I haven't
tomorrow.
seen them.
They're working off old material that they already have,
Okay,
so,
all right,
They were working Thursday and
They had already-
Friday.
okay,
yeah, Taylor, they already begun work anyway.
okay, yeah, I know they started it. I know they started it. Yeah. Okay, well, yeah, maybe you'll get some funding for it right away.
Infrastructure, I'll make a motion that we approve the BNL lead service lateral inventory quote for $3,000.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. I don't think did I already sign this and send it to him? I didn't think so.
No,
Okay, next up. Through the school resource officer contract with the Homer Central School District for the 2022-2023 school year.
I did change what you asked.
Thank you.
So this includes a 3% increase right now. Although the school is going to have some discussions on it subsequently. So we're looking to go forward so they can start.
Yep.
And then look at it later.
Anything deviate from the previous year?
Now, other than the rate of that. And then they do pay for officers, whether they're SROs or other officers for activities. So like there's a game this weekend, so they have someone there. Those we bill separately. And they reimburse us.
And Chief did this, you guys did a study on
Yep.
comparative analysis.
Yeah, we're still lower than everybody and I'm talking about per hour lower rather than overall, because some of the other schools work less hours for SRO, some work more hours, so. We'll be looking at it further later.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the SRO contract with Homer Central School for the 2022-2023 school year.
I will second.
Discussion. All right, all in favor? It's supposed to be notarized, so it's not supposed to come in tomorrow or something. All right. Let's see. All right. So, contract, all right, that's what I thought. Approve designating the Homer Fire Department material as surplus so they can send it to Ukraine as a donation, which I think is really great.
Yes.
Charlie confirmed that this wouldn't cost us anything to send it also to Ukraine. He said, but Jay would know the specifics.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we approve designating the listed material here as from the Homer Fire Department as surplus.
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion?
We do the 10 sets of turnout gear every year as part of the rotation policy, so rather than just getting rid of this stuff, it just makes sense to send it someplace where it's needed.
Yep, I think this is really great.
Mhm.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, good. All right, next up, approve William O. Rand's Fire Department membership application.
Got a lot of experience.
I know him personally, really good person.
Yeah, there you go.
So if I can, I would like to make a motion to accept his application.
Absolutely.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Very good. Approve moving 7,500 from the sale of a fire truck to the fire truck replacement reserves.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
That truck is gone. Right.
Mike, the heads up on that, the paperwork that the DMV requires, it's sold, but then they wanted us to retitle it. So Mike Harder's going to be working on that, and he's
Okay.
going to the DMV and then coming back with anything we need so that they can have it.
So it's still on our premises or is it?
No, it's gone.
Okay.
And they paid for it, it's off the insurance, it's just, there's a different rule for giving it to a person than a municipality.
Okay.
And so,
Selling it to it.
selling it to them. And so Mike's helping, since he did that before him.
Okay.
All right, next up, approve Glenwood Cemetery deed buyback. Change their minds.
Yeah, so New York State cemetery regulations require us to pay back 4% annually per year, and it's compounded, so that's why you see it grew from the minute it was put in. We do charge an admin fee of $115. And this is typical whenever they do come back, because if it comes back many years later, you'll see it does grow, because you get the percentage.
Wow.
Yeah, really good growth.
I don't buy a plot and just
Yeah.
Investment, yeah.
So I'll make a motion to approve the deed buyback.
I'll second that.
Any discussion, all in favor?
I.
All right. New spot open up at the cemetery, if someone wants it.
This one's anonymous, just so you know.
Okay. We got an anonymous donation. For $3,000. For the Homer Rec Department for football uniforms, which I think is pretty tremendous.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So I need a motion for us to accept this.
I'll make a motion for us to accept the anonymous $3,000 donation to the Homer Recreation Department for the football uniforms.
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
This person. All right, next up, accept donation of a cemetery bench from Barnett Memorials.
This donation is anonymous, they're buying it from there. Also,
Oops.
but it's okay, that's just where it's buying from.
Oh, that's where they're buying it.
You didn't say who, so I.
Okay,
That is. Very nice. Can we read the inscription?
please do.
Yeah.
I say the bench is going to be dedicated to all the men and women who have served our country and to those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice.
The cemetery guys are putting in the foundation, just so you know, and then the bench is it's already ordered.
It's the location been determined is,
Yeah, I don't remember the origin stuff.
I would imagine. As you're going in.
I don't know. I mean, they have they have a lot of plots up at the top of the hill. So I don't know when it's going to get this.
We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out. Did we get a motion to accept it yet?
I don't believe we did.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the donation of a cemetery bench.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Another very generous.
Yes.
All right, approved budget adjustments.
So there's a bunch, it starts off with a football donation, it's right in the top and put in so that that could order. Breaking up contractual costs are the next ones, that's also our legal expenses are that, just breaking them up to the right category. The fire department bought a camera, so they took the money out of small equipment, moved it to large equipment. You will see they had increased training costs in the DPW winter. And that's just taken out of a repair account in the winter that didn't happen. We actually had some camps and the camps paid for themselves or primarily paid for themselves. So a lot of these are gross ups for that. So there's a football camp. So all the revenue wasn't recorded because wasn't budgeted because we didn't plan it, all the expenses. So that's what a lot of these are.
Got it.
Concert expenses were in events, so they were moved to concerts. And that's almost all, you'll see tennis, volleyball, football. Each of those, we either broke even or in the end, one of them, we spent $35 to hold tennis. So I mean, it's not large.
No, that's pretty
The
good.
football camp at the end was 62. So I mean, none of these are huge.
Right,
It was a great investment for how
yeah,
much happened.
for sure.
I think a lot of families were really glad to see so many camps back after the pandemic. It was great to see a return to these programs. I know people are still asking about other programs we used to have, like summer swimming, and I think families really appreciate this.
Yeah, a lot of them, people were calling all the way through in the office, so especially the free camps that came at the end. There was a basketball one that was free and.
Excellent. All righty.
I'll make a motion that we accept or that we approve the budget adjustments as listed.
Then,
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Last up, discuss DRI public meetings, just to kind of.
Yep.
Let people know when they are. Okay, so the first one,
I didn't bring my flyer.
yeah, let me put the word there.
I think the first one is
The first.
the first, yeah.
Yeah, it's
I don't think we have anyone on today.
I know we'll have people look at it later on the YouTube channel. Yeah. And then the 7th, right? Is that the other one?
Yeah, the 7th is at the Center for the Arts, 4 to 7.
And
That's
the
our-
first is the
The virtual,
Virtual.
and that should start, I believe, at 6.
seven.
Seven.
That's what I said, okay. So yeah, Thursday, September 1st at 7 p.m. is the virtual DRI meeting, and it's a Zoom meeting. And you can get the meeting ID and the passcode from the village website. On the left-hand side, you'll see a thing under notices. This is Village of Homer DRI public meetings. There's also a link to the survey. And then the second meeting will be an in-person meeting, the Center for the Arts on September 7th between 4 and 7 p.m. So it'd be great if people came and gave us their ideas, thoughts, feedback. You're looking forward to having Main Street be one way. So that's the big thing we're looking at.
Yeah.
If I say that, we'll get some people.
Poking, aren't you?
We'll get some people at that meeting. No, that's not our idea. But you should come anyway.
So just for, who's gonna be posting the virtual registration? How's that going?
That is gonna be, I believe, Toma. Yeah, they sort of have been running the show and quarterbacking everything, yeah.
And the same with the
Yeah,
the live presentation.
and will that stay up for the full 3 hours? In case,
At the Center for the Arts, yeah, there's gonna be stations, so things are gonna come, like,
No,
go right
food.
here to see it.
so yeah, that'll be, yeah, that's a long one, but
You
It'll
move
probably go
around.
fast.
and-
Dryden is looking to do the 5 million.
yeah, I saw
was in
that.
Today's paper.
The I forget what they call the mini DRI.
Yeah.
Rural DRI,
New York forward.
New York Forward.
and we were applying for that too.
Yeah, we're applying for both, yeah. So, all right. I think that's it.
So I guess I can wait till later.
Well, we're gonna do comments by board members. First, that's Dante. Dante, do you have anything for all of us?
A couple of things I wanted to bring up if you guys have a second. I talked to the code enforcement officer yesterday. He had I think a phone call or some sort of correspondence from a potential food truck type vendor. And I just wanted to bring it to the board's attention. Our code doesn't have any, specific food truck regulations. We do have like peddlers and solicitor regulation in general, but nothing that would touch on exactly what the food truck, at least what was described, what the food truck would be doing. I don't know if you guys have ever thought about, regulations like that, where they would be permitted, how long, what licensing and regulation should be required.
Yeah,
I
we really ought to.
I think so.
I forwarded Cortland bills to Kevin. They have an application for special events like that.
I also forwarded the city of Cortland's regulations to, I think,
Yeah.
Kevin and Dan. So those are just some guidelines, things to consider. We don't obviously have to take any or all of that, but those, municipalities around us have regulations in place.
Yeah, the city is too restrictive, but I would like to see something that where we can regulate, and definitely want to make sure that there are no food trucks without, all the requirements that they need to for the state as far as inspections and license and all that. And we probably want to set some hours.
So Dante, if we don't have it in the code book, that means it's not allowed, correct?
No, it means it's not regulated at all. But we do have some regulations that would touch on it. I think they would have to apply for some sort of licensing, whether it would be for a peddler, which is kind of an anachronism, but it would really fit what they are doing there. It's a mobile vendor of sorts. This happens to be food and food products. So that would require a license and an application, but it wouldn't have things like that are very important. The mayor just mentioned, health department sign off and time and place regulations, they would still be bound by other things, parking and leaving their car, at 4 a.m. That's prohibited on village roads, for instance. But I think that at minimum, we should adapt some health and safety requirements for these people.
Absolutely.
Catch up people, it doesn't sound like this person was, 100% had a game plan to start tomorrow, but the sooner we kind of start thinking about it, the sooner we can, figure out what you guys want to do.
Is this person you?
No.
No. I talked to him, so not Kevin. I sent him to Kevin.
When
The
will
other
this
guy.
person be you?
And then the other thing was just a quick update on the law for combining the ZBA and planning board. I hope to have a draft sometime late next week for you guys to start looking at. I hope we can at least start discussing it at
Okay,
a month's meeting, and then, maybe the later September meeting, adopt the regulation. I don't know if you wanted to, for our discussion, have that member, I believe, of Nikon that you mentioned, Mr. Mayor,
yeah, Wade, I think.
to kind of explain what other municipalities have done, just so the board can consider that in conjunction with the legislation and
Yeah,
just discuss it in general.
that's a good idea. Yeah, we can reach out to Wade for that.
Okay.
And then we do need to redo our LED sign ordinances at some point. I talked to the people at Family Health Network, and I said, the easiest thing for them to do to get their sign is they need to rezone that property because it's R2. So that takes care of that, but we're still gonna have a couple others coming up that we need to. So we should do that at some point.
Maybe put that as a discussion item for one of the meetings next month, just to get some input, or if you guys already know what you
Yeah.
want to do, I would, yeah.
I have a pretty good idea of, but I'd probably like to see what some other municipalities have done too. The technology moves so fast is the issue, right? As soon as we write it, it's already antiquated.
I think if we don't put it technologically centric, but we put it on the parameters of what we will allow. That
There you
way
go.
technology can develop all at once, as long as it falls within the parameters of what we want to see.
Right, yeah, and the measure of the light that it puts out is not gonna change with technology. I think they measure it in nits.
I forget something like that, yeah.
Uh,
The information I put together spring or summer
Yeah,
with a couple different municipalities, all regulations, I think that would fit nicely with what we need.
I think
I'll
so.
get it back out to everyone.
Thank you, Dan. Appreciate that. Yeah, I know you already kind of did that legwork, so we just have to jump on it.
and just to clarify, it's not for the residents that think that it's an R2, it's actually was it the planning or the park?
It's in research and
The
industrial.
research and industrial
Park.
But because in our codes, we don't have a research and industrial park zoning, it defaults to R2. So I don't want anybody to be confused out there in the internet thinking that we've got an R2 development. It's not.
Right. Yeah, it's fixing a problem.
That more accurately would be a B, some sort of B2,
Yeah,
some sort of B process.
Yeah, we actually, that'll be maybe when we do the big rezoning. So. All right, anybody else do you have, Dante?
Those were the two items I had. Sorry.
Excellent, around the horn for board members, Elizabeth,
Oh, nothing tonight.
you had all that rec stuff, that's.
I did.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you want me to mention the Osho dedication?
Oh, sure.
There's gonna be a dedication of a bench by the Osho family honoring their daughter tomorrow, 3:30 on Green. I'll be representing the village. if you
Oh,
guys
good.
can't make it. So
Right,
anybody else that's out there that wants to attend, that would be awesome.
very good. I'm gonna try to go if I don't have to go to Albany. I'm still,
No, I will definitely be your backups.
thank you, my friend, I appreciate that.
What else do I have? Well, just going back to the food truck thing, I have seen a couple like across the street from me, but I think we need to address it because I can see them in the future becoming more visible.
Oh, yeah, as we have events like, the Brockway and things like that, they're gonna wanna come, and that's no problem. I think that food trucks are great. But we wanna make sure that they're properly inspected and licensed.
And equipped with fire extinguishers and
Right.
things like that, so they don't prevent a hazard. Is
Right.
the chief on tonight or?
No, he couldn't.
You get ready for his vacation. Oh, fire chief? Or the
No.
chief of police?
Chief of Pittman.
Yeah, he's,
I'll touch base with him and.
I gotta get him before he goes on his vacation, fishing.
I guess that's all I got.
That's all you got? All right, Pat?
Bus shelter is pretty much up. They got some last minute things to do with a bench,
Right,
but it looks nice.
I drove by there today. It does look very nice.
I saw it yesterday when it was partway down, I didn't see it yet today.
I did realize that I thought we had purchased like a holder for the bus routes and something, but we hadn't. It's not
Okay.
that it was missing, it's just when I'm reviewing our contract, we never purchased that. So we may need to do an add-on, and then there was a suggestion for armrests inside on the bench. As well, so,
We originally had about $900 more in the budget for it, and I moved it out and it hasn't been used, so I would look for it before we spend that money.
so I guess I'd like to. Authorize Dan and Tanya to take a look, price out what those two things would be. And not move forward until actually we have it up for a little bit, so we can see if there's anything else. That
No,
we,
no pillows or blankets.
oh, no, bring her out. So,
But it's got the solar charging station and all that stuff. That's great.
So
It's great. Yeah, I think that's great. So I'll make the motion.
okay. I'll second it.
Very good. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. What else? Anything else? That's it. All right, I have nothing else.
And if you don't mind, in Kevin's where you mentioned the Oshels, personally, I'd like to thank the DPW for rearranging their whole schedule because they usually leave before the memorial and they're actually staying.
yes.
Oh, that's nice. That's
And
good.
they're leaving early Friday, those that are staying.
Oh, good. Good.
But they're actually doing that. They were excited.
I'll make sure.
Oh, good. That's fantastic. That's good.
DPW's been working hard this week.
Yes, they have. Yes, they have. So, yeah. All right.
Doesn't mean you have.
I thank
Well,
you all the
Buzz,
time.
thank you for letting them use the generator off. the water.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we haven't come back to it today.
Yeah.
Is there a note on the screen?
Oh, yeah, we,
There's the member of the.
yeah, I forgot, questions from the media. I was wondering if you could go a bit into detail what you hope to discuss during the DRI meetings. Safe to say you're going ahead with submitting an application for next year. Yeah, we are applying for next year's funding. The feedback we've gotten from multiple different organizations is that we have a very good chance, not to jinx it. What are we gonna be discussing? We wanna hear what people's ideas are. If they have projects, if projects exist that no one has, come forward with yet. We tried to reach out to as many people that we thought would be interested in doing some of these projects as we could, but we clearly don't hit everybody, so plus we want to just kind of know what the public, what they like, what they don't like, because there is money for infrastructure changes and improvements and one of our goals is still to open up access to the river. So we just want to hear what people have to say. It's important that the community kind of be involved in this and be behind what we're doing. Yes, sir. Well. All right. No other questions. We do have to go into executive session to discuss personnel matters. And per New York State Public Officer Law, Article 7, Section 105. We have a motion.